Hello. Just want to get some more thoughts off my brain, so I'm putting it back on here. Just thinking a lot about obedience today. Yesterday I was thinking a lot about patience, and now it's just obedience. Specifically, can you love God while actively and willfully disobeying God? So I'm starting kind of here it's John, it's actually chapter 15, or 14, 14, verse 15. It says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And if you see that that's in red, that means Jesus spoke it. This is Jesus saying, Jesus the Son of God, God himself saying that if you love him, you're going to keep his commandments. That doesn't mean you're going to obey everything perfectly. It just means that your will is to preserve his commandments in your heart, to obey his commandments. That's your will. Whether or not you're perfect in doing that, I mean, obviously in this flesh, that's never going to happen. But your will is to obey. And Jesus himself said that should be enough, honestly. But the Bible does specifically say that by 2 or 3 scriptures, or 2 or 3 witnesses, every word should be established. So I'm gonna find more witnesses here, starting with Deuteronomy chapter 13. And there's so much on obedience in the Bible, so much. And unfortunately, we don't associate obedience with love to God. But he certainly seems to. So we have Deuteronomy chapter 3. There's Deuteronomy chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. That say, Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of the prophet, of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you to know whether ye love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey, there's that word again, obey his voice, and ye shall serve him and cleave unto him. So we have another place here where God's proving you. That means he's, in a way, testing you. He's letting you see who you really are. And he's showing whether or not you actually love him. And that is shown through walking after him, fearing him, keeping his commandments, just like in John 14:15, and obeying his voice. And of course, serving him. And there's Deuteronomy 30. So we have Deuteronomy still, chapter 30, verse 20. That would be over here. Yep, verse 20. That thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, for the length of thy days, and for that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. But really the first part of this is the part that I'm trying to focus on, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and thou mayest obey his voice. There's one is the other. You love the Lord your God, and you obey his voice. So it would be just as easy to say, if you don't obey his voice, then you don't really love the Lord your God. So the question is, if you don't obey his voice, who do you obey? Or who do you love? We'll get to that in a minute, because that's also part of this. But right now, when you go to Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 23, and Jeremiah 7:23 says, "But this thing commanded them, or I commanded them, saying, Obey my voice, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people, and walk in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you." So basically, if we want to be his people, and there's plenty of other verses about this, but if we want to be his people, we have to obey his voice. One is equal to the other. If you obey his voice, if you follow his word, then it is true that you are one of his. You have to trust in him. You have to repent. And then you follow his word. You obey. That's the important thing. That's those who follow him, those who are his, I guess is probably the better way to say it. Those who are his follow his voice. Obey his voice. The will there, whether it's perfect or not, the will there is to obey. Now, what does it mean if you don't obey? Well, God sums it up pretty easy, or pretty well, in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 22 and 23, where it says, "And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings, or hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken meaning to listen with intent, than the fat of rams. For rebellion," that's the opposite of obedience. Obedience would be to follow. Rebellion would be to say no, to say, God, nope, not gonna listen. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Am I looking at the right place here? I might be looking at the wrong. In the wrong place. In 2 Samuel. That's pretty dumb. Let's try that again. There we go. I actually have this highlighted. It's 1 Samuel, not 2 Samuel. That was my dumb mistake there. But there it is. He doesn't delight in the burnt offerings and sacrifices as he does in obeying the voice of the Lord. His delight is in our obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And to hearken is better. To listen with intent is better than the fat of rams. But rebellion, to go against that, is the sin of witchcraft. Witchcraft would be to follow and to trust in other gods. There's incantations, there's enchantments, there's those type of things. But it's all basically demonism. It's all basically following of other gods and trusting in other gods to do the things that you need done, to give you the supplications that you're looking for, to lead you day to day in your life. Rebellion to God, the Bible is very clear. you're going to either be a child of God or a child of disobedience. You can look up the children of disobedience in a King James Bible, and you'll see the different verses about the children of disobedience. You're going to be one or the other. So you're either going to be a child of God and follow him, or you're going to be following other gods, otherwise known as devils. It says rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. So bucking up against God is equal to being being an idolater, meaning you're loving other gods, and iniquity, which means you're keeping sin in your heart, and you're preserving that in your heart as like it doesn't matter, like it's something you want to keep, something you want that you are not willing to give up, that you're not willing to show, to give to God. I can get into iniquity sometime down the road. I just, if I continue to do this kind of thing. The point is, of this whole thing is obedience is an automatic effect of loving God. If we love him, we will keep his commandments. If we love him, we will obey him. If we don't obey him, then we cannot say we love him.